Very good, thank you. I'm going to call the meeting to order. We'll start with pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mochler.
Here.
Graylow.
Here.
Brady.
Here.
Easy.
Here.
Gilbertson.
Here. Any conflict of interest declarations? Hearing none. Approve agenda. So move. Second. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Same sign. Motion passes. Approve minutes. So move. Second. Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All the same sign. Motion passes. Are there any visitors to be heard that don't appear on the agenda? 9:02. We've got to wait a few minutes for the zone hearing. We go to the opioid settlement participation agreement.
We just did one of these, and this one is another new one.
This is just additional funding. Is this also going to be used to support the same programs we're using?
Yes.
I move to authorize the chair to sign the opioid settlement participation agreement.
Second. A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign. Motion passes. And that's the exhibit K one, right, that I signed. Employee flu vaccine approval.
This is just our annual, the community health nurse will give the employees flu vaccines if they want them. If their insurance doesn't cover it, then the county would. I will say that we haven't gotten a bill for the last several years, so I think insurance will cover it well.
I move to authorize the employee flu vaccine program to continue for another year. Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign. Motion passes. There we go. I've got 9:05. Now's the time for the first reading. Proposed ordinance to rezone land located at approximately 46925 South Dakota Highway 46, Beresford, South Dakota, from A1 to rural residential for 17 residential property lots. Legal description is lots 1 through 17 in the north half and the southwest quarter of section 1, township 95. North, range 51 west, the 5th PM, Clay County, South Dakota, Glenwood Township. And also the hearing for proposed ordinance of a rezone land located at approximately 46925 South Dakota Highway 46, Beresford, South Dakota, from agriculture to C1 commercial for an office. Legal description is lots 1 and 2 in the northeast quarter, section 1, township 95 north, range 50.
So just like before, right now there's 15 building eligibilities in the proposed land. What they're doing is just going along the creek bed. It was 2 previously, but then with community input, they changed it to 1. Just a big commercial lot instead of 2. In addition to that, they did add an extra driveway up above that hill along the road, the dirt road, as concerns for the safety of traffic. So did get back to us, they can. The projects up there, the 17 houses plus the commercial. It's gonna be, kind of like before, it's gonna be that strip mall building. Just adding more businesses into the county with it. And then, the Biddeford School District did endorse the project for the 17 houses. Here's the letter for that. That's about it. I mean, first reading.
And then Mike or Melissa, did you have anything you want to add?
We have received endorsement.
Can you come up to the podium and state your name and address? It's always on.
Melissa Donlin, 3112 South Patrick Place, Sioux Falls. We have received email of endorsement from the mayor, Eli Sealy, supporting this along with the business for the Beresford School District, the Beresford community. He's 100% support, and you can go ahead and forward you guys all the email. But he was very excited about it coming out.
I'll open up for public comment.
I have a question. Dale Neely, 2973646 Avenue, Beresford. So this will be going around. My understanding was that the water was approved. However, they have to put in at least 3 miles of new main to be able to support. That's my understanding. I just wanted to know if there I need clarification on that. But because it said, you said it, I believe what I heard was you said water, said rural water so they can support it. But I believe it has modifications for them to support it.
Correct. So they're gonna be putting in new pipe. They're gonna be putting in bigger pipe.
Additional pipe, or do we know?
Yeah, additional pipe and then bigger pipe.
Okay, thank you. First, Sam Mayor, 3112 South Patrick Place, Sioux Falls. One of the developers, Clay Union or Clay Rural Water, is going to put in a main line that's three miles long to support this, but they're also going to the rural water along the farthest west road stops, I do believe, at your property and then comes from the north. They are going to hook both of those up, which will give more pressure and volume to the existing ones that are on the existing line. The new line, the 8-inch line, I think they said it was 8-inch line, will be just for the development.
So quite a bit of.
Any other public comment? And did everybody see the email that Terry forwarded? And that was just a public comment from Cassie Hickory. Hearing no other public comments, I'll make a motion, or I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing. Moving to the second.
I move to close the public hearing and move to the second.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Oh, I had just a quick question. So you did mention that there's an additional drive added, or additional driveway entrance added to help alleviate some of the concerns about additional traffic on 46. And so that is that the one between the two creeks?
So below the hill,
Yeah.
there's a small driveway that goes up and then kind of like a little adjacent. There's already a field access point there.
Okay.
Going up.
Okay.
So it's just basically right above the hill. Because one of the concerns was, well, there's a blind spot over a hill.
Yep.
Alleviated with adding it above the hill.
Yep. Went out there, wandered up and down the road a little bit, and I didn't know exactly. Seems like a good modification.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
I
Pose same sign, motion passes.
think, gentlemen.
When will we be able to have that second meeting?
Whatever date you guys set it as.
On this week.
We gotta publish it, right?
No, so we
No.
publish the first meeting and then y'all decide on the second meeting.
That's only 5 days in between.
So next Monday or Tuesday?
We can get on the paper for this one, and then that will be published ahead of the meeting, and it just needs 24 hours. Publication.
I believe so. I think let's plan for that, and I can work with Nolan if that isn't true, we'll do it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this, I was hoping to have more information for you guys. But, where we're sitting at is, as it relates to Title VI compliance. I've worked with Brent. Okay.
You're back there.
Okay. He's hiding from me. Essentially, it's part of this ER grant funding from the state DOT. For whatever, I figured it out now. They were telling us for the first time ever that we needed to have a Title VI policy, a Title VI coordinator, a complaint procedure for handling Title VI complaints from the public involvement plan or policy as it relates to Title VI, and non-discriminatory practice for hiring employees and supporting contracts and agreements, as well as a Title VI assurance in all of our agreements and contracts, including subcontractors with federal agencies. So,
Explain to us, Title VI.
yeah, Title VI is effectively it's essentially Title VII, which is just non-discriminatory practices, as it's essentially Title VI, Title VII is both federal law that mandates that Title VII mandates that they cannot discriminate as it relates to hiring practices. I think any company that has more than 15 people can't discriminate on the basis of sex, religion, race, all sorts of sexual orientation. Title VI talks about how if an entity is receiving federal funding, you then have to have these procedures set in place. So we've been receiving ER money as what has the rest of the state of South Dakota for years and years and years and years. And as I was informed last week during a conversation with DOT, I was told that really what has happened in the past is the federal government has given a lump sum of money to the state of South Dakota, and the state of South Dakota is then providing counties with matching that funding, but utilizing a different funding source to give out to the counties. And so the obligation for Title VI hasn't fallen on the counties, it's fallen strictly on the state, who has a 47-page
And staff available.
public involvement plan. They have their own Title VI and ADA coordinator. That's her entire job. That's what I spoke with last week. She's a full-time employee of the state of South Dakota. So, for whatever reason, I mean, it's related to the flooding from last year. It's North Sioux City, Lincoln County, and Clay County. Our funding for this grant cycle cannot go through that same process. Don't know why. That I didn't specifically get into that or get an answer on that. But the funding that we are receiving is being funded directly from the federal government to Clay County, through the state of South Dakota. As such, these obligations fall expressly on Clay County. So we have to be in compliance now because we're receiving federal aid directly through the state of South Dakota. So I've been working on it, Brent's been working with me. 3 of us, Carrie, Brent, and I had a meeting. I've been working on this most of last week. By next week, I believe I'll have documents in place. We're just going to need to have the commission. Essentially, we're going to utilize them. We're going to have to designate a Title VI coordinator, and we're going to have to put a Title VI statement in our policy. And then the other one that we're going to have to do is when we're working with OPEC, they're going to have to agree to put this Title VI assurance provision in their contract. But we'll just have to come up. So next week, I'll bring it to you. But here it is, I guess, in anticipation, but I hope we'll be ready next week that we can formally receive that grant funding. We have all this good.
And so this will be then something that, so since we are now an entity receiving these funds, then all across our operations, we need to have compliance measures in effect for this. So this is going to apply to our jailers, it's going to apply to not just our highway department, our auditor's office, and all of these offices will need to do some degree of trainings or form assigning or.
It will only, right now, it's only for this ER project, because this is the first time that the state of South Dakota has gone through this process. When every other time that we've received federal funding, from what I was told in my conversation last week, the state takes on that liability.
Insulated us
They
from-
insulate us from it. They take that on, and they ensure they have all of the procedures in place. So for now, my understanding is the only place where this is applicable is gonna be for this grant fund like ER.
So only as these funds are expended, not we as an entity
Correct.
are complying with this and verifying with compliance in all of our
Yes.
operations.
Specific to these funds. Now, if that, who knows what the future holds, but, we'll have policy and procedure in place, so if it becomes an issue down the road with further funding, we should be in a better spot than most will be at that time.
What does the compliance look like at the state level?
It's heavy. I mean, they've got a handbook, a 50-page handbook on there, which they call their public involvement plan, for Title VI. We don't have to have the same level of, we don't need to be as in-depth as they are. A lot of their compliance has to do with working with tribes. And so, we obviously, Trans-Lake County don't have to worry about working specifically with tribes to as far as government function. So it won't be nearly as burdensome. And in my conversation with June, I feel pretty confident that we can establish, and be in compliance with Title VI with a quick policy, which really is going to mirror our Title VI, our Title VII policy, which we already have in our handbook, designating a coordinator, and then they have different complaint forms, the state does, that we should just be able to more or less utilize, and create as our own. So I think we're almost there. I think by next week we'll have, what we need to be able to be compliant.
So who would be, or I mean, who gets designated this role?
That'll be up to you guys.
Somebody within the highway department?
It can be the highway department, it could be Carrie, it could be whoever, yeah.
Carrie needs more duty, right?
Carrie?
Honestly, the way this probably should work is Brent and Lane. And I hate to pile it more on you, but you guys will be the ones dealing with it. Lane, for the most part, I think, out of any of us understands the headaches of the funding part and how to do that paperwork. He's probably gonna quit after I said
I was
that.
saying, I think you made sure he wasn't on.
But I mean,
Longer in the list.
Yeah,
I mean, it can be changing too.
it can change. Yeah, it can change. We just have to have a designated Title VI coordinator who handles complaints, and ensures policy is being followed. So, the state of South Dakota has a specific, this June that I spoke with, is their ADA and Title VI coordinator. That's her role, for the state of South Dakota to get to. So, we will just make it a job, speaking with her, it should be very minimal. And right now, it's just for ensuring that this process is handled. So perhaps it makes sense to make it Brent, and then in the future, if the scope expands beyond just ER funding, then it might be worth having a conversation if we should move it to a different inside the county. But for now, the only time that this is applicable is for funding that we're receiving through ER.
And just so I understand as well as you do, why, so these funds we're receiving direct from the federal government. Previously, they had routed through the state, like if we would have gone ahead on the flat grant.
Yep.
We had an agreement in place where the state receives those money and they would have passed them on to us, and then we wouldn't have been getting the money directly. They wouldn't have passed them on to us, they would have passed on a different pool of money.
Correct.
Dollars weren't the same, okay.
And
but
now
this-
the
we've
state,
got direct.
the state is funding our ER project with the same funding it's receiving from federal.
Oh, but we still have a relationship with the state, but they are now asking us to.
That's still a pass through, but they're going to pass to us the same monies that they receive from the federal government, or just as you described. In previous agreements, there was a pool of money that they would receive, but then they would fund the counties with a different pool. In order to, and the state of South Dakota was keeping the lines of federally Title VI.
Which money are we getting
This is for the bridges,
on the bridge?
yeah, from the flood last year.
So
So,
mitigation money?
is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and that all makes sense probably as to why it's the three entities that I was informed of. It's North Sioux City and Lincoln County, Lake County specifically, that are receiving direct funds.
This is whereas if it happens again in the future, we would already have a coordinator.
Correct. Yep, if it happens again for any federal funding or the TR or other funding, flat grant or something else, we'll have the federal policy in place and procedure in place that we won't have more Susie. And Carrie sent an email out to all of the auditors in the state. I sent an email out to a bunch of state attorneys. Seems like we're doing it, unfortunately.
Awesome.
So to conversation to continue hopefully next week, we have everything squared up for that to use, so we can get policies and documents in place so that we can get compliant and receive the fund.
Now, when we go forward, when you said like Altag, if they're the ones doing the bidding jobs for us, only on the ER money, they have to put that in there, or they're just gonna put it in there all the time?
It's a specific Title VI assurance, it's a special provision that is already created. We just have to ensure it's put on all agreements and contracts, including subcontracts where the federal aid would be. But here it's
So-
specific to this project.
So if it's state aid, if it got missed,
Yes,
I mean, it's probably gonna be the easiest to just have it on every document,
probably. I mean, it can't hurt.
but if it got missed and it was just state funding, it would still be okay.
Correct. It's specific to the federal aid, and in the past, it hasn't been included because the state of South Dakota has been the one that's handled those issues. So here it's now becoming an us problem. And it wouldn't be a bad idea to just put it on there, but it's the obligation as it relates to Title VI is specific to the subcontract and contract related to the federal aid project.
Anything else?
Not on my part.
questions? Brent? Right away application from Clay Union Electric. Do you have those applications? I've got all tags, but I didn't have that, those two.
Yeah, okay.
I thought I did,
It's in the packet.
Yeah.
but it'd be the sign.
Oh, gotcha.
We've got a right of way application from Clay Union Electric on 321st Street. Section 34, Rain Township 9251.
Move to approve.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Gordon Johnson. Anderson. He's doing a driveway just right across from his, other driveway on the south side, so everything right there, he already has a culvert and everything.
And I know, like in our master transportation plan, there's counts of, based on how fast the road is, how many driveway entrances you can have and stuff like that. That's something that you're balancing, planning on these, right? It's not something I normally ask about because I just assume that your office is, working with whatever DOT standards are there.
Yeah, this is a gravel road, so.
Yeah.
Move to approve the application from
Second.
Gordon.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Then we've got a change order from Old Tag. Bridge deck epoxy seal on structure 14130-146.
Nice thing about, always give them the maximum price. He's always come in a little bit lower, which is,
We're cut good.
which is all right, so.
So it's not like, we've already signed this, but for the change, we had to sign it again, just close out with the state.
Okay.
So that's all the signatures, so.
I move to authorize the chair to sign this change order for $14,500 less than what we were expecting to spend on this $186,000. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
We hired a new guy, last Thursday, it was Michael Weegate. He worked in the weed department for the last couple of years, so doesn't have a CDO, but seemed like a good guy, always showed up, so hired him, so gonna try to get him a CDO. So we should be full staff now, so.
Can you remind me what our CDL training policy is? Do we pay costs on that or do we, do the training on there?
When they go do the test, it's like $35. And then, after that, there was, he was gonna hire a guy out of Canton to come for, once they got enough drive time in, gonna hire a guy from Canton to come in. He got to ride with me so long, it was gonna be like $800 per person. But I was talking to other, superintendents, and there's this, I can't remember the name of the course, but I applied for it, got approved,
Thanks.
where I could be authorized person where I can assign somebody like Tim Dooley or whoever got the experience or Rod, and then they could ride with them for 80 hours and they can sign off on them and then go straight to Yankton and do the driving part, which is like, I think 150. And then do that when they're done.
Thanks.
So basically, it's just 80 hours of driving, get that done, and then walk around for 10 hours and little driving around the pool. Set up a course with cones and stuff in the back there, so it's practice. And after that, we sign off, sit there, and just take prove it and go to that guy. Do the driving and be done. Okay. Hopefully it all works out best.
That's great. Have we had any real short-term hires that have gone through that process in the last few years?
We had one guy that I hired last November, but all he got done with the written test, he didn't go through anything else, so. But thankfully, they're pretty,
I mean, it's a nice perk to be able to try to, sweeten the deal.
Right.
In one of these positions, I know sometimes they're kind of hard to fill, so,
Yeah.
It's good to hear it's not mostly abused.
yeah, then, once they do pass, then extra $1 an hour, so a little incentive there for them. Get it done, and get it over with, so. That's all I got.
Yeah, thanks for being proactive on that training. It sounds like that can see.
Thank you. Couple minutes, anything for Clay County?
Let's see, nothing new. No, nothing new. There's, got through most of the second maintenance mow on the New Prairie and had the, gearbox on the, brush cutter for, conk out, so hopefully we can get that covered.
Good. Building projects, I'll know more next week, we have a meeting tomorrow. Joint jurisdiction, meeting tonight, 6 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Any other commissioner reports?
I'll share that I went up to the Grasslands Coalition at a meeting up in at Big Earth State Park and did a little tour of kind of a small farm that people use as a demo site for mostly kind of agritourism stuff, it seemed like. But it was a good meeting, a few legislators there, talked about the importance of healthy grasslands, talked about soil health and management. It's a good meeting, so hopefully you guys all have invited to that too.
Any other ones?
We did meet with Lloyd again last Thursday. Not a lot of significant changes, but we're gonna meet again this coming Thursday, and maybe they can find a few other dollars to save, but we'll know more later.
Make sure everyone feels, those are invited to come over to Yankton. Is going to be the next district meeting, and Michael Smith is going to be one of our guests there to talk about open meetings and changes to open meeting rules, things like that. So
What is this one?
This is September 11th. Checking at 11:30 a.m. and meeting starts at noon. And I think we have Julie Ock is going to be there as well. So field some questions. It's been a fast board meeting. He usually does a pretty good lunch. It's at the Archeries.
I had one more thing, Travis.
Yeah.
The 18th, I've got that landfill meeting, and I just wondered if we could get somebody appointed here. Do we need to put an ad in,
Oh, for that open spot?
the rep from the county?
Yeah,
Does it have to be advertised, I assume?
yeah, we better.
Okay,
Who was it? Who did we have?
Dick,
Oh,
or, no, excuse me,
oh, it was,
Chris Larson.
oh, that's right. Yeah, we advertised last time, hopefully. I think the last time we did it, we only had 2 applicants, so
I have somebody in mind, but I know we have to do,
they might be the only one.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I'm sure gonna
Just encourage them to get there.
tap on their shoulders, so,
fill it out for them and
right.
surprise them.
Yeah.
I'll get an ad together, do we wanna use an application or just have them submit a letter of interest?
Well,
Letter
how
of
did we do it
interest?
last time? Do you remember?
I can't remember.
I thought we had an application,
I
that kind of
think we
described
did,
why they
but-
were interested or
Yeah, I think it was just a few questions like what relevant, experience or why they're interested.
other boards.
I'll see what I can find in
Yeah,
my
we-
little
kind of like
files.
the cities. Or, I was thinking we need planning and zoning commission.
Yeah,
application.
I think the last one we did was for planning and zoning, so.
Actually, we have the same right there.
So they just, they,
Planning and
there's
zoning.
nobody off.
Nobody's
A
on.
lot of them, yeah. They did have applications, but I think that, the incumbents all stayed on.
Oh, okay. The planning and zoning commission appoints their own members.
No, it's just if nobody gets off, then it just stays.
Don't they come up for reappointment?
They do, but if they don't want off, then they stay on.
Regardless of whether anyone else is interested in doing
They did interviews, because I know people who interviewed, but, I think. all
it. We made the appointment.
We can have that discussion. in executive session.
Okay. Okay.
So we've got 9:30, public hearing for the 2026 budget.
We're required to have those. I have not received any written comments. Nobody has stopped in.
Do we have the budget published, the provisional budget published?
Yeah.
We do, okay. Where is that located? I was trying to find it on the website. I have a copy, in my
I don't-
inbox, but,
I don't have it on the website, but it gets published in the newspaper.
we published it earlier in the summer, when we had passed the provisional budget. And then anybody that wanted to ask questions about that. That would that be the same version that we have in front of us today?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, we have not changed anything since you guys passed the provisional budget.
So we just have to have this finalized by the end of the month.
Yeah, last meeting in September, so the last Tuesday.
So I was looking over the hyperlinked one that you sent out. 7/9, I think, is when the email was, and one thing that I was having trouble locating in here was the ACDC commitment. Is that in there?
I don't believe I added that one in. That may be something that we need to add.
Are they expecting to get their money, Travis?
Well, and they said if we don't have it, I mean, it's gonna be 26,000. We did the 130 with the 5 years, so. We should probably add that in,
Add that in, okay. You sure do that.
or at least add it in so we can take a look at it. See where we're at.
I will add that in, give me a copy to you guys.
I noticed a little discrepancy, at least in the copy that I had, just between the front page, which I consider the front page to really be the, kind of a summary. And the detail being the pages that follow, and the library funding page, totaled out to 6,000 because it had the 4,000 for the Vermillion, 1,250 for Pierceford, 750 for Wakanda. But on the main page here, I did notice that it showed only the Vermillion and the Wakanda amounts, because I think at that time we hadn't received the request
Yeah.
for Pierceford yet.
You're
So,
right.
but it's in the
Mhm.
body of it, so that's all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody have anything else for the budget?
The only other, if others don't have an additional comment, I was gonna say I'd expected a few meetings that I'm not comfortable with the current plan for financing the the road improvements for Southeast Farmers Co-op, and I see that we've got the debt service, the $136,000 loan payments, in this copy of the budget that I have. I'm a little concerned about, the kind of open-ended, price tag that we had as of the last time we had an estimate. So the last engineer's estimate came in, indicating that the total cost might be quite a bit higher. And I was just wondering, how would we address, if we have to come up with another $200,000 or $300,000? Is that something that, I guess I wonder what would, I think that, I would, I've expressed discomfort with this financing plan in there, but I think I would express extreme discomfort with potentially spending more than this. So, one thing that would give me a little comfort was thinking of these investments of public dollars as being kind of the cap of what we would be comfortable investing in this project. So that's something I would.
Well, it's gonna be like every other project, when it gets bid out, we'll have to make a decision.
Yep.
So.
We'll just deal with that when we come to it.
Yeah, because I don't know how else to do it.
And besides taking a big bunch of padding in the highway department budget, which I don't think is appropriate for you.
It's tough to budget what ifs.
What's that?
It's tough to budget what ifs.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Anything else on the budget?
And next year, there is no rate, funding.
Not for,
2020.
not right now.
Okay.
I mean, they could come up with something in January. And then that would be something we would have, well, yeah. I don't know, I don't remember how that, I think it'd be 27 before we dish the money, probably.
Could they do some sort of emergency one and then have
Well,
it
I
come
mean,
in at the
it'll-
beginning of the 20?
It'll happen July 1st if it's not emergency.
Yep.
So I mean, that money would be there, they'd have to go through the application process, it'd still be the same way.
And I think that would fit with the timeline, wouldn't it?
Well, it seems like they have to have it in by October, and we have to make the decision by December or January on the money, so I mean, we're gonna go through all of the year. Well, we'll know next year, budget time for 27.
I think I saw something that, I don't know if it was an email from the townships or whatever, but all three of our legislators voted against that. So we might.
I thought Sydney carried. I thought Sydney.
Cindy carried it, so the two reps voted against it.
Chris and Bill. It was Sydney's bill. I hope she didn't vote against it.
Maybe that would be one of all three, but regardless,
Two of them voted against it,
Yeah.
but there was so many amendments to it. Plus the appropriations, Chris sits on appropriations. He voted against it because there wasn't money for it. So. But no, that's a good, hopefully, and towns and townships, my understanding is they didn't. They weren't supportive of other things, so it kind of was
gotcha.
kind of a thumb to them.
Yeah.
To put it politely. So there's nothing else. We have executive session, we have contractual and legal
In personnel.
and personnel.
Yeah, let's do in personnel.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Personnel is 125.2 subsection 1, legal and contractual is 125.2 subsection 3.
Entertain a motion to go into executive session based on those two statutes. So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion passes. We're in executive session. Entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Okay. A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion to adjourn.
So moved. So moved. Or seconded. Yep.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. We're adjourned.